Hi, I'm Neil Beck. I was a doctor in Perth, Western Australia for 53 years, and in that time I had 500,000 consultations, home and hospital visits, did a lot of surgery, helped 800 babies into the world, and saw a lot of suffering, saw almost everything, not everything, almost everything. And I was always interested in the people who suffered the most and got the worst treatment. And in the end, it became clear that that was people who had mental health disorders, who were not able to get the help that they needed, and who ended up in desperation, in some crisis, taking something that they got on the streets, and what they got on the streets was always addictive, and then they became addicts. And that was the worst thing that could happen to people, was to go from being mentally unwell to being mentally unwell. And what I saw the problem as being that there were so many people who needed mental health help, and there was never going to be enough mental health helpers to help them all. So an increasing number were turning to street help, and street help was always ended in the disaster of addiction, and so many people died. So how are we going to solve that problem? Well, it appeared to me that the reason why there was never going to be enough mental health help to help all the people who needed that sort of help was that the tools that mental health and addiction practitioners used were weak. There was only two main tools, and they both had great weaknesses. The first tool was medicine, and people who took medicine wanted to get better and then be able to stop taking medicine. But the people who made medicine wanted them to take as much medicine as possible for as long as possible, preferably just get well enough to for doctors to prescribe the medicines and for people to pay for them, but not well enough to be able to stop them. And they achieved that in two ways. They made so many medicines addictive. The commonest mental health problem was worry or anxiety. There were many forms of anxiety, general anxiety, social anxiety, obsessive compulsive disorder, panic attacks, and all sorts of phobias. And all the medicines for anxiety, worry were addictive. Originally barbiturates, many kinds of barbiturates, all addictive. Then in the 1960s we started to get some new medicines, Valium, Seropex, Mogadon, Xanax, the benzodiazepines, all addictive. And then there was Ambien and Silnox, also addictive. And all the medicines for sleep disorders were the same addictive calming medicines. How does an addictive substance work? It works like this. First of all, it gives you great relief from some form of suffering, like anxiety or insomnia or ADD or post-traumatic stress disorder or whatever. It gives you great relief, but it never cures anything. And it also causes resistance to develop in the person's chemistry. So as that resistance develops, a bigger amount of the substances is needed to calm the suffering. So initially a small amount of an addictive substance would calm the suffering. Then there had to be a bigger amount to calm the suffering and overcome the resistance. And the bigger amount led to bigger amounts of resistance. And then an even bigger amount of the addictive substance was needed to give relief from the suffering and to overcome the resistance. And so it progressed until eventually they were taking very large amounts of the addictive substance, which screwed up their natural chemistry so much that they couldn't stop the addictive substance because the screwed up chemistry was used to functioning with the addictive substance. The other way that they managed to sell lots of medicine was to make the medicine slow acting. When you most of the medicines came as tablets or capsules, and when you swallow a tablet or a capsule, it takes half an hour to an hour to go right down your gut and start to be absorbed into your bloodstream and go back up to your brain or wherever it's needed. Half an hour to an hour to start to work, and 1 to 2 hours to work strongly, and that's just too slow if you develop a craving for an addictive substance, or if you develop a mental health suffering. So you can't just take the medicine when you need it. It takes too long to work. So you have to take it 2 or 3 times a day. And that meant that much more medicine was sold. The other tool was basically talk therapy, counseling, psychotherapy, CBT, whatever you like to call it, but basically a therapist talking to a troubled person. And talk therapy had 2 problems. One is it's too slow. It takes you an hour with a new patient with 2 or 3 different mental health problems and an addiction to explore the whole thing, to find out what all the problems are, how they started, what was making them worse, and how to make them better. And we just didn't have an hour to spend with every new patient. And then with talk therapy, you had to see them at least once a week for half an hour, 3/4 of an hour. So talk therapy, just too slow. And the other thing about talk therapy was too costly. To be a therapist, you have to have at least a 4-year Bachelor of Psychology degree, or a 5-year master's degree, or a 6-year degree in psychology and therapy. Or to become a psychiatrist, you need to have a 6-year general medical degree, a couple of years general medical experience, and then 3, 4, or 5 years of psychiatric training. So 10 or 12 years to become a psychiatrist. And people who are smart enough and had enough money to do those long training courses needed to be paid well. They deserved to be paid well. The work was difficult. They had to be very well qualified, and they had to be pretty smart, so they had to be paid well. So talk therapy was costly. So what was the solution to that? Well, starting about in the late 1990s, we had a big heroin epidemic in Perth, and I started to work 10 hours a week in an addiction clinic. And I wanted to know what caused addiction, because in health you always want to know what the cause is. If you know the cause, it's easier to get people better, and if you fix the cause, they're much less likely to relapse. If you just treat their addiction and don't treat the underlying cause, which in 95% of cases was a mental health disorder, then it's very hard to get them off their addiction. And if the original cause of their addiction is not fixed, then they are very likely to relapse. So I started 22 years ago to build tools to enable people to help themselves. If there was never going to be enough mental health and addiction carers for all the people that needed help, then they had to be helped to help themselves. Of course, they couldn't do everything, but they could do quite a lot. Some people could do 3/4 of what needed to be done, some half of what needed, some a quarter of what needed. Some people couldn't help themselves very much at all, but we had to work in that direction. So over the years, I developed 10 tools, videos, websites, a mental fix-it app, powder medicines which start working in 5 minutes, pocket dispensers so that people can take their powder medicine very quickly and start to get better very quickly, and that helped them to reduce the suffering and reduce the craving and to eventually get better. Another tool was heartbeat meditation aid, which is a shortened stethoscope which enables you to listen to your heart, because meditation you focus on something that helps you to stop thinking about all your problems, and the usual things that you focus on is a word or on your breathing. Those things are not very attention grabbing, so a lot of the people who most need to learn to meditate can't learn to meditate because they can't focus enough on something to stop thinking about all their problems. If you can focus on something for 20 or 30 minutes and stop thinking about your problems, or every time you start to think about them, refocusing, you become much calmer, much more relaxed, much clearer, and your brain starts to work better, and your whole life gets better. But people needed something more attention grabbing to enable them to stop thinking about their problems. And I'd been listening to people's hearts with stethoscopes for over 50 years, and I knew the heartbeats loud and clear with the stethoscope, and so I just cut the stethoscope short so you can listen to your own heartbeats. And that's very attention grabbing, and you can learn to meditate in that way. And then after a couple of months you can, when you've developed the habit, you can do it just focusing on your breathing, which you can do anywhere very quickly. The 8th tool is another powder dispenser, but this is fruit powder, not medicine powder. This was the medicine powder one, but the medicine powder one only gave a very small amount of powder, and to taste of fruit powder you need to have a mill, so this one gives you a mill. So you have it in your pocket, and anytime you feel like a lovely taste, you just drop some powder on your tongue and enjoy the taste. And that can help you to not do some of the things that you don't want to do. If you want to stop smoking, for instance, or you want to stop eating too much, every time you get the urge to smoke or to eat or to drink too much, you just whiz the thing out, have a lovely taste, and you focus on the taste. And if it starts to fade, you have another dose, and if it starts to fade, you have, and that means you can delay the eating or the smoking or the drinking for 15 minutes. And when you delay a habit like that, you weaken it a little bit. And when you weaken it a little bit, then you can delay it a little bit longer. and when you delay it a little bit longer, it gets even weaker. So it's a way of breaking habits that you don't want to do, and it's also a way of making habits, because if there's something that you want, a habit you want to make, like perhaps exercise or study or whatever, whenever you think about the thing that you want to do, you have a lovely taste, and that lovely taste reinforces your desire to do that habit, and you can gradually do that habit more and more often, because that's how you make habits. You make habits by repeating them over and over and over again until their underlying triggers and electrical and chemical messages in your nerves and your blood flow become strong and automatic and almost unconscious, and then they're a habit which is hard to stop. Habits are 60 to 65% of our life, and being able to make new good habits and to break habits that have become harmful is a very important part of having a good life, of being safe and having an enjoyable life. But what I want to talk to you mostly about tonight is the 10th tool. I'll tell you about the 9th tool another time, but the 10th tool I think is going to be the greatest of all of them, and I call it the Mental Fix-It Scroll Plus. The Mental Fix-It Scroll Plus. When I first made videos, my first video was about 10 or 12 minutes. That was about 15 years ago, and 10,000 people viewed it in 9 months, and that was very good. So I made a lot of 8, 10, 12-minute videos. Ended up with 31, but they stopped looking at long videos, and then I discovered they were all looking at TikTok 1-minute videos, and then YouTube made YouTube short videos, and so I had to make short videos, and of course you could cover a lot in 10 or 12-minute video, but in a 1-minute or a 50-second or a 40-second video you can't cover very much. So to cover all the aspects of health, of mental health and addiction, I needed to have a lot of under-a-minute videos, so I ended up with 83, with about another 10 coming. But if you've got 83 videos, which videos do you watch? This person's got these problems, that person's got those problems, that person's got different problems. They each need to watch different videos, but how do they know which videos to watch? Well, the Mental Fix-It app was a solution for that, because what you do with the Mental Fix-It app is you tap the App Store or Google Play icon on your phone, download the free app, and then you answer its questions. Originally it had 38 questions. It took 10 minutes to answer, and then you get an instant report, and the instant report tells you what all your problems are, which 6 of our 1-minute videos are going to help those problems most, which medicines are likely to work best, and whether your scores are getting better, so the treatment is right. But 10 minutes was too long, so we have now reduced it to 19 questions, which you can do in 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, and get the instant report that gives you what your problems are and which 6 videos will help you most. So download the app in a few seconds, answer the questions in 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, get an instant report that you can read in seconds, and watch 6 1-minute videos in 6 minutes. So in 10 minutes you go from woe to go. But that worked pretty well, but I eventually concluded that people love scrolling. I wasn't a scroller. I was a big reader. I started to read a book 2 days ago and I've read 300 pages of it. There's only 600 pages in the book. But a lot of people are not like that. Today, people want to do things fast, so they scroll through things very fast. TikTok has over 1 billion visitors every month, and most of them, or a lot of them, just scroll through stuff. And excuse me, I realized I had to, just as I had to go from long videos to under a minute videos, I had to go to scrolling. So what's Mental Fix It Scroll Plus about? It's about doing the two things you need to do. One is you need to find all your problems. If you're going to get completely better, you need to know what all your problems are. It's never one or two problems. It's usually 3, 4 or 5 problems. And the old talk therapy is so slow that you usually only got to the biggest problem or the biggest 2 problems, and there are other problems that you never reached, you never knew about, which was still a problem for you, which stopped you from getting completely better. But with scrolling, what I found was I could give titles to each of the many items. Turned out to be about 90 items under mental health and addiction, and you could scroll through those titles of those items very quickly, and you could immediately know which ones were probably of importance to you. And the advantage of scrolling is you cover everything. The disadvantage is you don't get much detail. The speed is due to leaving the detail out. So what I did was to create a 6 to 15 second short video for every mental health and addiction item, all 90 of them. When you're scrolling through and you come to an item that you think that's important for me, you can immediately tap the 6 to 15 second video and see that little videos and know much more about that thing and whether that is a problem for you. If it's not, you just keep on scrolling. But if it is 6 to 15 second video, you then get a link to a 1 minute video, and you can watch the 1 minute video. So let's clarify this a bit. There are 10 groups of mental health and addiction factors. The first one is first aid for unhappiness. Then are usually the most powerful factors in our life. 3, to be happy and healthy, grow your mental health. 4, downer mental health disorders. 5, upper mental health disorders. 6, relationships. 7, families. 8, habits. 9, upper and downer addictions. 10, upper and downer medicines. So if you've got time, you go through the whole lot. If you don't have time, you just look at the list of groups and you pick a group that you like. So let's pick the second group, which is feelings are usually the most powerful factors in our life. There are 14 factors under feelings, and I'll just read out to you very quickly the titles that you see and that you decide whether that's of interest to you or not. So number 1, get a happy healthy life. To get a happy healthy life, develop more and more good feelings and get your bad feelings fixed. The second item, most bad feelings are caused by 11 common mental health disorders. The third one, we produce 25 feel-good chemicals in our brain, glands and gut. The fourth one, our feel-good chemicals also boost our disease-fighting immune system, which keeps us healthy. The fifth, to be happy, healthy and safe, keep your feel-good chemistry strong. The sixth, build a list of safe, feel-good things you love and download your phone treasure tool. The phone treasure tool is the ninth tool, which we'll tell you about later. So you can scroll through very quickly, and you click on the ones that any that seem important to you. You click on the short video. We produce 25 feel-good chemicals in our brain, gut. The 13-second video for that is our feel-good chemicals include dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, noradrenaline and over 20 endorphins. Endorphins are morphine-like chemicals that cut pain and distress and boost our disease-fighting immune system. So if that seems to be important to you, then you go to the 1 minute video. The 1 minute video, the heading is our brain happy chemistry is also our healthy chemistry. And you in sort of about 50 seconds you can learn a lot about your brain happy chemistry and healthy chemistry. Now, so items, 14 items under feelings. At the end of that, you can tap an item which is new interests, and the new interests gives you a list of all the links to all the videos that you tapped on. Any of those short videos that you thought were important to you appears in this new interests list. So you can look at that and you can decide, oh yeah, that one's very important, I want to watch that again. You can watch it 2, 3 or 4 times and then watch the 1 minute video and really get it. Or you can decide, no, that's not very important, and just cross that off. And then you go to the next group. So let's say the next group you decide to go to is mental health downer disorders. Mental health downer disorders. There are 10 factors. The first one is depression is not truly fixed till its causes are found and fixed. The second item is, am I low because my thyroid gland is weak? The third is, am I low and slow because I had a virus infection or have chronic fatigue syndrome? The fourth one is my poor focusing, concentration, impulsiveness and hyperactivity due to ADD, ADHD. The fifth item is beat, nasty, low self-esteem and low confidence. And as you go through that, any that you say, wow, that applies to me, you look at the short video. So is my poor focusing, concentration, impulsiveness and hyperactivity due to ADD, ADHD? Well, I've got difficulty focusing, concentrating, so I then tap on the 12-second video for that. To understand your mental health problems, tap your phone's App Store or Google Play button, download the Mental Fix It app, do its fast check and watch the 6 1-minute videos it instantly recommends, which will focus on the 6 videos, 1-minute videos that help people with ADD and related conditions. Item 6 is don't stay troubled because your family is troubled. If your family is troubled and you feel troubled with them, some people are very happy to do better than their family, but some people don't feel right to do better than their family does, so they stay troubled because that's their family thing. They wouldn't feel happy about being better and happier than their mother or their father, or better or happier than their grandmother or their grandfather. So what's the 14-second video on that? Mental health problems are family problems. If you feel bad about getting better than a family member, do the mental fix it up check often, then watch the recommended videos and with them do the app checks. So you get better, but you help them to do the same. Depression is not truly fixed till its causes are found and fixed. The 11-second short video for that is: depression and bipolar disorder are a kind of bad habit caused by too many bad times. Often do free fast mental fix it app checks and watch recommended 1-minute videos. And the 1-minute video for that is: find, understand and fix your causes of depression and bipolar disorder. Now, it's not always possible to find all of them or to fully understand, but one of the things I learned from treating 8,000 addicts in about 60,000 consultations was that they got a lot better. Their depression got a lot better if they understood what caused it. If they were depressed because their father was a violent drunk and their mother wasn't very loving, it helped them to understand, to find that their father's father was an alcoholic and their mother's mother was not very loving. It helps you if you understand the causes. The better you understand the causes, the better it is. There's always a reason for the causes, and something which is terrible when you don't understand why, nearly as bad if you understand why it happened. And problems are just one link in a long chain of problems, and troubled people are just one link in a long chain of troubled mums and dads. So what's another group? Another group is good relationships are very important. There are 8 factors. For happiness, the short titles that you scroll through: for happiness and health, good relationships are very important. To have very good relationships, you must be a good quality human being who can recognize good quality and compatibility. For a good life, learn to communicate well. To be healthy, happy and have good relationships, find and be your true self. So what are the short videos for a couple of those? For a good life, learn to communicate well. The 11th, you need to understand other people's feelings, thoughts, wants and don't wants, and they need to understand yours. Poor communication causes serious problems. And the 1-minute video, the title is Become a Good Communicator. And the item: to be healthy, happy and have good relationships, find and be your true self. The 8-second video for that is: finding and being your true natural self helps you to have good relationships. So learn to feel what's right and natural for you. There are a lot of reasons why a lot of people are not being their true self. Bad things that happen in childhood, mistakes, failures at school, critical parents, moving countries to where they speak a different language and do everything different. All these things can stop you from being the natural you, and when you stop being the natural you, you tend to get into situations and to make decisions that result in problems for you. When you're not being you, you get married to someone who is not suitable for you. When you're not being you, you undertake a traineeship or an apprenticeship, or you do a university course in something that doesn't really suit you. It's so important to find the true you, to be the true you. Group 7, families, 8 factors. Good marriages are some of the greatest places on earth, and bad marriages can be hell. Our mum gave us half our genes, and in 9 months in her tummy she grew us from a tiny egg to a bouncing baby. After we were born, our mum was still our world, day and night. There's so much of our mum in us that we may develop similar problems to hers. Item 5, no one is a separate individual. We're all one link in a great chain of mums and dads. Item 6, serious problems and early death sometimes hurt children, grandchildren and great-grandchildren. That's called transgenerational trauma. And transgenerational trauma was the most significant thing in the problems in my family. And I was a doctor for 53 years and never heard of transgenerational trauma. I didn't find out about transgenerational trauma till I was in my 80s. And that would have just completely changed my family if we had discovered it a long time ago. So that's the reason why you need to scroll everything. You need to scroll everything so that you don't miss anything. You don't miss anything that's important. And the old, when I was a medical student, the books had 1,000 pages, 1,100 pages, 1,200 pages. So much you never got to them. You didn't read the book 3 times. You were lucky if you read it all once. But when we have all the items, about 90, I reckon that's all of them. But if you know one that I haven't included, please let me know. Email me on healthestuff@gmail.com. Find my email address at my website, which is smilefixit.com. I think you'll be able to remember smilefixit.com. and find the email address and tell me what I've missed. But I think about 90 items covers everything, and you'll be able to scroll that in 12 to 15 minutes and find everything. And the problem with the usual scrolling is you don't get the detail. But as soon as you find an item that's important to you, you tap on the 6 to 15 second video and you see it, and you immediately say, yes, that is important to me, or no, that's not right, and you keep on going, and at the end you press you tap new interests, and you get a list of the links to the 6 very short videos that you've tapped on, and you can look at them again as many times as you like, and you might say, oh no, this one's not very important, cross it off, and this one's very important, and what's that one? 3 times today, twice tomorrow, and 3 times next week. And then watch the 1-minute video and get more information. And then when you've got all your items, when you've done the whole lot, you can press a button which says all interests, and that will show you all the short videos out of the 90 items that you have tapped on and watched. It might be 10 of them, might be 12, might be 8, might be 14, but anyway, they're there, and you can see them, and you say, yeah, well, those 2, 3 are the most important, and then you can watch the 1-minute videos, and then what you can do is you can go to our Mental Fix It app and do the Mental Fix It app and get the 6 videos that will most help your your high scoring problems. So Scroll Plus and the Mental Fix It app allow you to go through everything, not miss anything, not wait till you're 80 to discover something, discover everything, and then get the detail you need on the things that are important, and not waste your time reading whole chapters of a book about something that's not relevant to you. So my goal is for a person who has a problem. They crash their car, they start to drink too much alcohol, they start to use heroin, their wife decides to leave them, whatever the problem is, that they can whiz their phone out, they can download the Scroll Plus program and find the 6, 8 or 10 most important items for them, and can then watch very brief videos and then 1-minute videos, and then if they want to they can do the Mental Fix It app and get the 6 most helpful 1-minute videos for all their problems. Yeah, I want people to be able to go from a big problem to a lot of understanding in 10 minutes, and then a lot of understanding in 20 or 30 minutes. At present, what happens is you have a problem, you think, oh God, it's not good to have problems, so you don't like to admit you've got a problem, so you don't like to ask for help. But when it gets too bad, you ask for help, and then you find there's a waiting list, 3 months, 6 months waiting list. And then when it's your turn, by the time it's your turn, your original problem has created 3 other problems. You've gone from having ADD, to having a poor education, to getting poor employment, to having money worries, and then alcohol worries, and then tobacco worries. We just got to beat that problem. Now, I have to tell you that I've got a problem myself. I'm in my 80s and I've started to have angina, and I've got to go a bit easier. So I'm going to stop this live streaming now, shorter than I usually go. I'll still be doing the live streaming at 7 p.m. Perth time on Wednesday, Friday and Saturday evenings, and at 8 a.m. on Sunday, 9 a.m. on Sunday mornings, because we now often got nearly half of our viewers in the Northern Hemisphere, and 7 p.m. Perth time is 7 a.m. New York time and 4 a.m. LA time, so not very user friendly, so I may have to change another session, but at present I do the Sunday morning session at 9 a.m. Perth time, which is in the evening in the Northern Hemisphere, which is a more user friendly time. And lots of people want to talk to me, and I just partly don't understand the technology of how I can talk to them, but I also just don't have the time, because we usually have somewhere between 1,000 and 8,000 viewers. Uh, so I am very anxious to know what you're thinking. So please send me your comments, questions, and criticisms via the platform you watch this live streaming on, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram, or Facebook. We used to do X, but it got a bit complicated, and I apologize that the last couple of times I got the technology mixed up and we didn't do Facebook and Instagram. But I am anxious to hear what you have got to say. So via the platform that you watch the live streaming on, or through my email address, which you'll find at smilefixit.com, let me know your comments, questions, criticisms, and I will respond to them. The next hour I'm going to be responding to those new viewers, the likes, the comments, and I'll do that again tomorrow morning because there'll be a lot coming overnight. So have to call it quits now. Thank you, and it's Friday night, so I'll be back 7 o'clock tomorrow night, Saturday night, Perth time, and 9 a.m. Sunday morning time.